I never remember if the mic is at it must be down here. Yeah, that must be.
Where you talk in when you're on a phone call.
Yeah, but like some people in modern phones just hold the phone at themselves. Do you find it weird? I find it weird when I'm walking along and someone's talking on headphones and holding their phone at their face.
Well, they'd be headphones without a microphone in it, surely.
Maybe, I don't know, but I find it weird.
Okay. You're not suited to this modern life, are you?
In many ways. What's the Hunter S. Thompson quote? Too rare to die, but too weird to live. I think it's something along those lines.
Hello and welcome to another Bit Weird special. It's another collection of clips from the What's the Go podcast. After the first year or so of the podcast, Monty and I were having a bit of trouble finding time to record together. So, given that we worked at the same place and I would often give him a lift to work, we decided that the best thing for keeping the podcast going and, to really respect our listeners' ears was to record the podcast in the car as we were driving to work or from work. What this resulted in, obviously, was a podcast you could barely listen to, given to all the engine noise and so on going on. If that wasn't bad enough, Monty had a real predilection for pointing to things outside the car as we drove past and talking about them on the podcast, which listeners obviously couldn't see. Now, I know what you're thinking. Holy crap, what an amazing niche. This podcast must have gone through the bloody roof. Well, sadly, not enough people understood its genius. So, yeah, no, not particularly. But with the wonders of modern technology I now have, I can present a cleaner version of the audio of these clips for you. So while you're listening to these, imagine them with much rougher engine noise, drowning out a lot of what was being said. But having said all that, I hope you enjoy these clips from Australia's premier car-based tangential sport podcast that sometimes doesn't talk much about sport at all. What's the Go?
It's What's the Go pod? We're a sports pod.
Oh, you're a host now, are you? That's good. You're doing the introductions.
Thought I'd do an intro. Why not?
Nice. Oh, I'm into that.
We did an emergency pod.
Hey, look at that dog over there. Sorry, I was...
Ah, he's doing me. Yeah, you're doing me. I like it. This is going to be a hard episode if we both do me.
All right, well, I do have a request up top. You ever seen, the news on TV?
You talking to me or the listener?
You.
Yes.
So you've seen that when a reporter's talking to somebody, they stick the mic under their face, ask a question, and then move the mic over to the other person to answer?
Yep.
That's a technique you're going to need to bring into this podcast more. I'm
trying. I think the problem is we talk over each other occasionally.
That's not the problem. The problem is you just forget to point it at me when I'm talking sometimes. Don't start this podcast with bullshit.
It's a bit bullshit.
All right, I'm sorry to start with a criticism.
Yeah.
I just think
I was always told,
if we're going to be Australia's premier car-based sport tangential podcast, people need to be able to hear me over the engine noise at least.
I was always told that if you're going to give someone a criticism, start with a compliment.
Okay.
It's too late, man.
You've certainly not shaved for a few days.
Thank you.
You were going to try and tell me something about Jackie Chan earlier. I'd like to hear more about.
Well, it was more just...
This is where you point at me, because I'm still talking. I'd like to hear more about that, thank you, Monty.
Well, it was more just amusing I had. That it wasn't something I wanted to tell you, wasn't it? It just, at that time, it popped into my head. I said Jackie Chan doesn't like his children.
Yeah, so there's a story in that, though, because it's just a non sequitur that you don't normally just drop into a conversation. Oh, by the way, Jackie Chan doesn't like his children. What? Tell me more about it.
Well, to be fair, you don't need to know more. That's enough to know. I heard he doesn't like his kids. I think he's not leaving them any money. Specifically, the boy child. I believe he was.
Does he have a name?
If he does, I don't know it.
All right.
Jackie Jr. I think he was Jeju. Yeah, I think he was caught with weed in Hong Kong once.
Fuck.
Yeah, and following that, Jackie said, "I'm disowning you." You know, Jackie Chan's from Canberra.
Weed?
Yeah, well, Hong Kong weed,
Oh, Hong Kong weed.
not Hong Kong weed, but Hong Kong, weed.
Right.
Because Hong Kong, you know, you get the. How is Hong Kong going? Are they still? Well, like, are they still protesting and stuff?
That's a mid-sentence tangent. Well done. I was watching Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves last night, Monty.
Yep.
Not to be confused with Robin Hood, Prince of Tides, of course, which is something separate we're working on. A short theatre piece, I think, that I think makes a good crossover. I'm not sure about you. But Kevin Costner as Robin Hood,
Yep.
with a lot of legitimately Englishy, very convincing Englishy people around him, and just this preppy American dropped in the middle of it.
Lovely.
Did you ever find that grating?
It was a bit odd.
Yeah.
Question.
Yep.
Do you think there have been more people on film play Robin Hood or Batman?
On film.
I mean, film is a loose term for movies.
Are you counting Men in Tights? Does that count as? I suppose it does. His name's Robin Hood.
Sure.
No. Yes, probably.
Probably Robin Hood, hey?
I don't know. What was the point of that question?
I don't know. You know what this podcast is. My favourite Robin Hood by far is the Errol Flynn one.
Yes.
I watch that every Christmas.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like a family tradition. We watch Robin Hood, the Errol Flynn one, with Richard the Lionheart and Fried Tuck and all that jazz.
Okay. Wasn't he a pedo? You were asking me about Bebop and Rocksteady earlier.
Yeah. This anything? Is this a thing? Yeah, I was just trying to remember which one was which one was Bebop and which one was Rocksteady.
Well, we came up with a pattern, didn't we? That Rocksteady's a rhino, so R to R.
Alliteration, yeah, and Bebop's a boar.
Yeah. Although I said pig, but pigs don't have tusks, so I was schooled.
Were they vaguely kind of hip-hop themed?
Is Rocksteady a style of hip-hop, is it?
No, I think Rocksteady's probably more ska.
Right, your answer's in, obviously.
Yep. I liked the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a cartoon as a child.
Well, as opposed to a coaster. What are you talking about?
No, well, the toys were fun, but the cartoons were funner. But I don't remember many of the stories.
Well, it was mainly around a brain that lived inside a robot's belly.
But he was Shredder's boss?
Apparently.
What was Shredder?
Shredder was a evil samurai-style fellow.
It was a human?
Yeah, he was a human, but his superpower, if you want to call it that, was just having really pointy armor.
Yeah, he did have very pointy armor, and he had foot soldiers.
Yeah, he did. Which,
But he also had Rocksteady and Bebop?
Yes, yeah, don't ask me where they came from. I assume they're mutants in the same way that the...
Diversity hire. All the other foot soldiers are regular, and he had to get some diversity in the crew.
Can you smell cat piss?
No, not cat piss, but I can smell some weed in the car. Now, this brings up it smells like an airplane all of a sudden, but this brings up a new one. You said no visual gags. This is a olfactory gag.
Yeah, but I described clearly in, audio manner what it was.
Similar to what I did with the grey hairs.
But yeah, forget the grey hairs. What about when you just point to something like my windscreen and go, what's that there?
Yeah, well, that one. Yeah, I get that. I suppose he didn't just say, what's that smell?
Yeah.
It doesn't smell like cat piss, though. It smells like an airplane.
All right. Well, look, I've closed the bit where you close off and it's just air circling around inside. So it's just you and me breathing each other's fun.
That's going to get bad.
Yeah.
What was the first airplane you went on?
Oh, it would be
Not the plane. Tell me about the
Sorry?
experience. I don't actually care about what the first airplane you went on.
Yeah. Well, it's a Cessna.
That's...
I know that what you said, but I felt like I was halfway through saying it. I didn't feel like changing.
Really? The first plane you went on was a Cessna?
Yeah, probably.
That's pretty hectic too.
When I was 10 with Scouts, we just did up on the New South Wales Central Coast. We went off at Warnervale Airport, probably did a few laps in the sky, just seeing what it's bloody like.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. What would I be, 10?
I don't know.
Yeah. But I'm not I had to be grown up before I travelled on a commercial plane anywhere. I never went.
What do you mean you had to be grown up before you Did someone tell you that?
No, we never.
Because they do let kids on.
We never went on holidays anywhere where you need a plane when I was a kid.
Okay.
Not like my fucking kids who've been to Fiji and
Really?
Queensland and all the rest of the stuff.
Queensland and Fiji, Fiji's overseas, right? Queensland's
I
not.
didn't say overseas. I just said anywhere you need to get to by plane.
Hey, Queensland you can drive to.
You can, but why would you?
Nice drive. Not anymore though, actually. I did that drive recently.
Is it a nice drive with kids?
Well, no, it's not.
No.
Also, the drive is not as good as it used to be. There's a lot of bypasses now, the highway. I mean, it's quicker, it's better, easier, but...
Yeah. But you're not forced to take the freeway all the way there. You can bypass.
Yeah, you can, but I feel not forced, but coerced into taking
Who's coercing you?
the road signs and the kind of natural...
Well, just be prepared while we're talking about Scouts. Just be prepared for where you want to go and when you need to get off. Don't rely on this deceptive signage on the freeways, mate.
Do you recommend the Scouts?
No.
No? Do you dislike the Scouts now?
Well, let me put it this way. I'm just not that type of person.
A Scouts person?
Yeah, someone who likes camping and nuts.
Were you in the Scouts?
Yeah. But I was
I wasn't.
I was coerced into it by my parents. I didn't particularly want to.
You're stealing my coerced word, hey?
Yeah. But these are actual people with coercing me with words, not some sort of vague concept of a freeway wants you to stay on it.
Do you think a freeway does want you to stay on it?
Well, that seems to be what you're saying.
You know, isn't there some like Japanese theory that there's like everything has a soul or a desire or something like that? Do you think freeways want you to use them?
Well, I think anything wants you to feel wanted.
Even a freeway?
Well, otherwise, what is it? It's not a freeway if no one's driving on it. It's just a, straight line of concrete.
Ooh, it is. That's pretty deep. Is it concrete? It's not concrete. You ever seen roads being made? There's more.
Some of it's concrete.
There's more to it than you'd think.
What do I think goes into road making? You tell me. What do I think?
Okay, there's more to it than I thought. How about that?
Okay.
It's not just you put it down and it's a road. You got to put like a bit of air in there, then another layer and some more air.
Well, you probably got to plan what's the best place to put the road before any of that as well.
Yeah. There's a lot goes into it. Like the Scouts?
I just, no one likes anything that kind of parents make them do they?
No.
I just wasn't into it, and
Did you acquire many badges?
Some, probably not enough. I just, corroboree. I wasn't into that. There's too many people all at once using the same, porta potties. It's not fun. Camping's not fun. Camping is the biggest myth of our time. Like, I like the outdoors.
Camping is the biggest myth of our time.
Like the
I've been camping. It's not a myth. You can camp.
No, but the mystique of it and the enjoyment of it. You can enjoy the outdoors without having to sleep in the fucker.
I've learned recently that my relationship with camping involves my relationship with alcohol.
Well, yeah,
Camping's fun if you're drunk the whole time.
exactly. And so if you're not drinking, what is it?
It's all right. It's not terrible. I think I've got a better view of, a kind of view of it than yourself.
So why didn't you do Scouts then if you're so into camping?
Scout sounds terrible. Why? Who wants organised camping? I want free-form camping.
Yeah. How are you on knots?
Not great. And I'd like to be better. One thing I'd like from camping, I've always wanted to learn semaphore. Did you learn semaphore?
No, it's more a shipping thing, I thought.
Yeah.
Sea Scouts.
Sea Scouts, are there?
Have you not heard of Sea Scouts?
No, go on, tell me more.
Oh, my friend Ben was a Sea Scout. Look, I think it's just Scouts, but you happen to be near water and maybe do a little more boating than you might in regulation Scouts.
Sea Scouts, I like the sound of that. That's where I'd find my semaphore. Stu, you were going to tell me about the Ghostbusters.
All I said was that I watched the most recent Ghostbusters the other day, and not as bad as I was anticipating from what I read at the time, which was probably 4 years ago.
They panned it right good, didn't they? They really said it was bad.
They did, but I enjoyed it. I love Kristen Wiig. I love Kate McKinnon. Melissa McCarthy.
I hear you have something about one of the older Ghostbusters in a particular scene that has always been on your mind.
Yeah, well, there was I was wondering throughout the whole thing whether there would be a ghost fellatio.
A recreation of
Yeah.
a ghost cunnilingus, perhaps.
Yes. So, let's say Kirsten Wiig.
Let's.
For some reason...
Kristen?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
That name on any person. Kristen, I...
Yeah.
Go
Same
on.
with Kirsty and Christy. Don't make it.
If your name is Kirsty, spell it with an E.
Yeah.
There you go.
But, yes, I was where's the scene where she's kind of writhing around because a ghost, for no particular plot reason at all, just starts floating above her bed and giving her cunnilingus.
I disagree with you that original scene had no plot stuff. I think it was character development.
Do you?
Yeah, he's the kind of guy who likes getting some ghost head.
Okay. Now, that kind of ultimately was a step in his journey to the end, fighting a giant marshmallow.
Absolutely. I think it was integral.
If you don't know what we're talking about the scene in Ghostbusters where, for no reason other than Dan Aykroyd decided it would be funny for him to do a silly cross-eyed face and groan while he was copping head off a ghost.
Did you see that thing on the internet with that Asian guy who I think he was trying to put cheese through like a chocolate fondue fountain. Did you see this guy?
No.
See this guy? You see this? You see this?
You see this? You heard about this?
It went horribly wrong the first time he did it.
How horribly?
Very horribly. It seemed to go wrong for quite a long time, and so the machine fell apart, but then was swinging, melting like molten hot cheese around, like stuck on there.
Hang on. Is a cheese fondue kit much different to a chocolate one?
Well, this is one of. It's not. It's one of those fountains.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, it's me that should be sorry.
For bringing this up.
Well, yeah, it's a real visual thing, so I suppose we'll work on a podcast.
Can I ask, was him being Asian anything to do with the story?
You know what? When you think about it, right? Because I was like, maybe if I say that, Stu will remember, that's the video I saw, as opposed to all the white guy cheese fondue problems you see. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
I do have a folder of white guy fondue problems.
Yeah, white guy fondue problems. WFP, a white guy fondue problem. Yeah.
You saying?
Well, there'll be plenty of time for craziness.
I had more thoughts on Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Is that for later, or?
No, that's fair. Give me the Robin Hood thoughts.
So I was on another podcast during the week or a little bit earlier.
You committed podultery.
called Strange Times. You can check it out if you like. It's a British-based podcast, just talking about weird stuff that happens during the week.
Would you say it's a romp?
Yeah, it's just a lot of people swearing and crass jokes, really.
The British often say things are a romp.
Okay. But yeah, I brought up Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves again on that podcast just because, it's at the front of my mind. And one of the guys on there reminded me of a fact about that movie, that at one point in post-production, Kevin Costner locked the director out of the editing room. And Kevin Costner was in there doing the editing, or making the editing choices.
Worked his magic.
Yeah, what kind of operation is this where the lead actor can push the director out and start making the cuts?
Do you know who the director was?
Kevin something.
So they were both called Kevin?
Yeah.
Could it have been as simple as a Kevin mix-up?
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. The funny thing about that is that I actually picture Kevin Costner in still his Robin Hood gear in the editing suite.
He's a method. I believe he does stay in the gear till the edit's done.
Yeah, just firing arrows back through the door when the director tries to come in.
Yeah, maybe it was as simple as the editor was facing the edit screen and had everyone behind him and kept asking Kevin for advice. But Kevin Costner was replying. And eventually, maybe it was a misunderstanding. The Kevin director went to the bathroom. Was it Kevin Smith?
No.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it would be Kevin Smith. No. That'd be a whole different kind of...
Yeah.
Involve a lot of standing at the front of a convenience store.
Yeah. And Robin Hood leaning against the wall with Little John.
I like it. That sounds all right, actually. That's kind of funny. Yeah, okay. I feel like there are lots of those stories about previous movies where, actors would do stuff like that or refuse to do stuff or things would happen, but it doesn't seem to... I feel I don't hear those stories as much with modern movies. This one has been particularly waffly, but I don't want to go away from that. I'm enjoying it. What are we talking about? We're talking about sea scouts and potential half worm, half human underground scouts.
We're not talking about scouts anymore.
We moved on.
I said I would come back with more information if the public wants it. Now, if our legion of fans get on the socials and say, yes, Buckland, yes, Sea Scouts, brah, more info, please.
Sea Scouts, brah. Ergonomic, that's what we were talking about. Ergonomic, because I dropped the phone.
Should we be?
Why not?
All right, go on. What do you know about ergonomics, man?
Not much.
Well, then why are we talking about it?
Well, because I said that I dropped the phone, and I thought that the phone should be more ergonomic. It doesn't seem like the Apple has designed itself, been designed ergonomically.
Right.
You were telling me before that you've been watching Terminator again recently.
In case you've forgotten, it's Australia's premier car-based tangential sport podcast. And we say that with pride. We're not arsing about here. Find us a better car-based sport tangential podcast.
Well, I was going to tell you, we got that letter last time saying we can no longer claim it's the premier car podcast. It's in the top 10, we were told.
Yeah, and when I say go and find us a better one, I don't mean go and make one and send it in, because that would probably be better and prove us wrong. So
yeah, pretty much don't do anything on that. His call to action there. Don't look for others, they'll be better. Don't make your own, it'll be better. Just stick with this. It's already on. You're already listening to it. Just keep listening.
You're about to say, look how nice the sky is, aren't you?
Not going to say that.
You were going to say
No, just looking at it. It's very nice. It's nice.
It's a very, very nice orangey pink colour to the sky at the moment.
I feel that autumns give you the best sunsets in this city.
Yes, that's a fair call.
Shoulder seasons in general. Spring does too. But the crispness of an autumn eve.
What did you say? Shoulder seasons?
That's what I said.
Is it because it's not quite summer or winter, or because people wear stuff where they might show their shoulders off a little bit?
No, but that's good too.
Okay.
No, it was the first one.
Right. That's stupid. Why?
Calling it shoulder season?
There's only 4 seasons. You're going to call 2 of them shoulder seasons?
Well, you got to say that 2 are pretty sure about what they are, right? and two are like, yeah, we're kind of this, kind of that.
What are you saying? Shoulders aren't sure of themselves?
Well, they're not a head and not a body.
Yeah, but why is that the spectrum they have to live
So
in?
picture winter is the body, summer's the head,
Why are we
and
picturing that?
we're going around in a circle. You got to
Why-
sit on one shoulder and then go to the head.
Why is some of the head? I can't just accept these principles you're throwing up there. Why is some of the head?
Okay, well, winter can be the head if you want summer to be the body, but the body feels bigger and more wintry.
So what's the arm? Because the shoulders...
The arm
Joint-
doesn't affect this. The arm doesn't come into this.
That's what the shoulder is, and attaching the arm to the body.
Oh, I'm thinking more of a Venus de Milo kind of just shoulders and kind of bust.
Surely they're neck seasons then, if you're connecting head to body.
No, we're going around the side of it. Next season? That's ridiculous.
Probably more appropriate.
Is it? That's... Oh, I noticed this the other day.
No,
Here's a
you
tangent.
don't. Yeah, okay.
I'm intrigued by this chicken store.
We've driven
888.
past a chicken store. It's called 888
Korean fried chicken. Go on. See? Doesn't that sound all right?
All right.
There's a guy in a karate suit out the front. That's a good
Alright.
sign.
This is a reminder that this is What's the Go, the premier car-based tangential observational sport podcast. And I say observational because we're just going to talk about things we see out of the car.
Well,
All right.
can I bring something up to you then?
Well, you did, so go on.
The chicken store, right?
Yeah.
Look at the logo. Appears to be a chicken
Yep.
eating a piece of chicken and
Okay,
giving
so
the thumbs up.
It is a chicken holding up a drumstick, giving a thumbs up and a wink to, let's say,
But when you
camera.
think about it, is he holding a drumstick with a drumstick? Is that his
no,
drumstick?
No, that's a wing. That's his wing. His wing is presumably his hand. He's not holding it up with his foot. But this idea, and this has happened all the way through advertising, this idea that animals
like to eat themselves.
like to eat themselves and, want to make you feel good about them eating themselves.
Don't worry, I'm fine with it. You should be fine with it. Yeah, there was one I used to, the AC Butchery near my house in where I grew up, had a cow seemingly chopping up his own backside while smiling at you. It was the same concept.
Well, we used to have family holidays every year in Port Macquarie.
Sure.
And we'd have to drive through a town called Laurelton.
Yeah, I know
Close to
Laurelton.
Yeah. So they used to have the Wiggly Tail pork shop and butchery, it was called.
Oh.
And their logo was a pig facing away from you, looking coyly back over its shoulder at you,
Yep.
and its skirt being hitched up a little bit so you could see its arse and tail. So, and then it kind of seductively looking back over its shoulder, winking at you, saying, hey,
Hey, you want some...
you
Yeah.
see this? This looks delicious, doesn't it? You want some of that?
Pretty weird.
It was...
Was it somewhat of a cartoon pig, or was it
Yes.
more of an
No,
anatomically
no.
correct pig?
wasn't live action. It was a cartoon, but essentially upskirting a pig on a shop's logo.
You couldn't have that no more.
We might use
Although-
that as a title for the episode too.
Upskirting a pig.
was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But this sexualizing of cartoon animals and cannibalism of cartoon.
Yeah, I don't know where the sexualizing came from you. I was more about the cannibalism of the cartoon animals.
Yeah, I get that, but I we were talking about.
Are there many animal species in the real world that are cannibals?
Oh, great question.
Surely there are.
Oh yeah, well, fish. Like,
Oh.
I eat interspecies of fish, I guess.
Yeah. Would a lion eat another lion?
I think it'd have to be pretty sick and mental. But I'm not gonna rule it out.
That thick mental lion.
Well, that's when, when sharks start coming in close to shore and eating humans and so on, the theory is that it's because they're unwell and not right in their head and stuff.
Yes, you're right.
Have we done enough here?
No,
You still got more? Anthony?
no, I'm just thinking about the cannibal animals. Yeah, it's weird. But I want some of that chicken, though. That sounds good.
Yeah, what I'm getting at is, has someone done market research somewhere, some sort of focus group that said that an animal eating itself is going to make a human want to eat that animal more?
Hey, if he's all right with it, I trust him.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. Your vegetarians, your vegans don't seem to go with that. You don't really see many kind of like a Venus flytrap eating another one.
So like a carrot holding up another carrot and
Stuffing it into his carrot hole.
Carroty mouth.
Ugh.
Well, I suppose you don't have many just pure carrot shops. That's probably why we haven't seen that before.
I'd posit to think that there are no pure carrot shops.
We had a very interesting question. Who was the first person to ever come up with a table?
Yeah, what was the first table?
Yeah. Then to which my response was, well, it would depend if it was an accident or intentional.
Yeah, and so I said, like, no, I don't mean like just a ledge that people put stuff on or sat near, or like a tree that had a bit you could use. I meant like someone said, I'm going to use this as a table.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But also, we then boiled down the distinction further to be not just something you can rest your lunch on. It's got to be something that was purposely constructed to have room for your legs underneath, like a legit table.
Yeah, legit table. So I did a bit of looking into it. I Googled it up. The internet had some varying answers, but it all seemed to go back to Egyptians. And I thought that's fucking probably bullshit.
Why?
Because surely we had some cavemen that had table-like things. Cavemen were pre-Egyptians, right?
Yes. I thought you were just running down the Egyptians. I'm sick of hearing about everything going back to Egyptians. They can't have done everything.
No. I'm sure they had tables, but I don't think they were the first ones.
Yeah, but how do we know that the cavemen tables weren't accidental? That's all I'm saying. You can't get
I agree.
written account of a caveman going like cave paintings and then at the end, P.S. this was intentional. We meant to use this like this.
So you bring up an interesting point. Do you think we have written account? Do you reckon there's a hieroglyph of a table?
Oh, back to Egyptians.
Well, yeah, that's where they're saying they've got written proof. Because how do we know that they intentionally made tables?
I can imagine a hieroglyph featuring a table pretty clearly. I don't think that's out of the realms of possibility.
What if we've misconstrued what there... Was there a hieroglyph table in the fucking Rosetta Stone? Do we have actual proof that was a table? Maybe it was just a desk.
Oh, right. Oh, crap. Yeah. Well, yeah, if there was no food being eaten off it, it is a desk, and maybe the desk came before the table.
Do you think... So, is that what we're saying? So, a desk is for non-food related issues, work-related stuff, and tables... But tables can be used as a desk.
It can be, but it's not its primary purpose. You don't go into Freedom Furniture and ask for, like, a table to work off.
Can I suggest that potentially the difference between a desk and table is the amount of sides its intended use has?
Oh, yeah.
So, like a desk, usually you're only sitting on one side?
Yeah. Yeah, well, a table's a meeting place. You want you want different angles.
Yeah.
Faces coming at you from different angles. A desk you can put up against a bloody wall. You wouldn't
That's what I mean.
One person at a desk.
But, that being said, you probably could put a table up against a wall, at which point does it become a desk?
Well, there's still two other ends.
But desks have
Unless
that
you put it
too.
in a
You couldn't
corner.
get rid of the ends of a desk if you tried, unless it was a triangular desk with one end at the side, then you'd have two ends.
Or you've squeezed your table into a slot in your wall where it fits exactly to have three walls around each side. No one else can sit there, so then that is a desk.
3 walls around each side. So you're talking like kind of just putting a table in a closet almost?
Almost, as long as it fits the dimensions. But that's if you want a desk and only have a table. If you only have a table and want a table, put it out in the open. More people can sit around it.
Can there be a circular desk?
Oh.
Or is that automatically a table?
Oh, I'd say that's a table because you can't stop anyone else sitting there if it's round.
Unless there's...
I'll put it in the corner and kind of...
I'll tell you what we haven't thought about, though, is some kind of leg barrier for others. If you had a circular desk that had like a skirt around the side of it, except for one entry.
Yeah, no, we hadn't thought of that. That's true. Well, I guess at that point you can just use your words and say, look, I don't want you sitting here.
Get off my desk. Yeah.
Trying to work.
So this isn't a desk, it's a table.
Take your cereal somewhere else.
Now, to take that to sport a little bit, I then saw, while I was looking this up, a pool table. And so I looked up the history of pool tables.
Yeah.
That's from quite a while ago, and it's like a British thing. They started playing a billiard-style game outside on the floor, on the grass, similar to croquet.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, and then they brought it inside.
But hang on, so they had what would have been mapped out as a table-like field with different pockets.
It was kind of unclear. It was actually glossed over that bit. I think they might have just been playing croquet.
Yeah.
But then they moved it inside on the table.
And it was raining a lot, and they went, what are we doing? Let's take this inside.
Also, another good one is the first pool tables didn't have banks. The balls would just fall off if you weren't doing the right stuff. Okay. So they built the side bits. Then it was a long while till they put pockets on.
So how did you?
Well, it had
the game progress.
It had a more what was the name of the sport? We were just talking about the other sport. Croquet. It had a croquet style like hoops in there
on the table.
Yeah,
right.
But also now here's where it gets fun. It started with you didn't use a pool cue, you used a pool mace, and the mace.
What, swung it round?
No. It said that the official thing you did was shove the ball around with the end of your mace. And so real pool started like this. So they then put the banks on the table, the side bits.
Right.
And then people started realizing that when the ball was close to the side, it was hard to shove with the fat end of your mace. So people would turn their mace around and use the cue end of their mace to hit the ball off the wall. Here's another great part about that. But women weren't allowed to do that. Only men
weren't allowed to turn it around.
No, they had to use the shove and mace side. Men could turn it around when it was close and use the cue because women were not trusted to break the felt.
Oh.
They said, you women can't do this right. You'll break the felt.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And that was British, you said, not Egyptian.
This is British, yeah. The Egyptians didn't come up with this.
No hieroglyphs of a lady trying to turn a mace around and someone wagging their finger.
So, no.
Okay.
But so then, some people were like, fuck, I'm actually heaps better using the cue end of my mace. I'm just going to start doing this.
Yeah, let's just go 100% cue end.
Exactly. And that's where we lost the shoving pool balls around with a mace.
Okay. The fat end of your mace is a good podcast title.
It's a great one. Fat end of your mace.
I'd like to see if anyone beats that. Anything beats that.
Well, we've got a while to go. Other than that, I stopped reading there, but I should go back because I want to know when they put the pockets in.
Yeah, fair.
I have seen in my life, and my father told me about too, these games that he found in India that were pool tables without pockets on them, but it was all about caromming the ball off each other.
Yes.
So like you would have to hit one ball into another.
Okay, marble style.
Marble style. Have you ever played the game carom?
No, I don't believe so, but I understand its basic principles.
It's kind of like pool, but kind of like checkers as well.
Okay.
Mainly close to pool. My grandfather has Anglo-Indian heritage, and he had a fair few carom boards, and I used to play carom as a child.
Okay.
And it's fun. It's like pool, but you sit cross-legged on the floor.
Carom sounds like a cross between carob and caramel, and it's making me a little on the tooth.
Well, you shouldn't be on the tooth because carob is terrible.
Well, it's more just maybe nostalgia from exclusively getting that from the tuck shop at school.
I always used to think I was getting fake chocolate when I got carob.
Yeah.
It always felt like a letdown.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I convinced myself it was good.
What is carob made of?
I have not come prepared for that question.
That's fair. Carob. Yeah, I don't know about that. All right, shall we move on to some sports stuff?
Yeah.
Look at this license plate in front of us.
U forever.
It's U4
number 4
ever.
Ever. What? Why the fuck would you have that? Okay, well that's really weird. We're nearly at your house, so what I'm going to say to people is, I feel like there's heaps of stuff we could have talked about, and it's just not leaping to mind immediately because I'm driving a car rather than looking at a notebook potentially full of ideas.
And also thinking about your dinner.
Thinking about my dinner. But please, I'm serious. I want you on the socials. What should we have been talking about? Because I feel a little dissatisfied with this episode.
Do the work for us.
Just tell, what should we have talked about? Okay? Sea Scouts, do you want to know more?
Why not let us know?
Yeah. Seriously. We didn't set up social channels just so you could ignore them.
I just checked. We are recording. It would have been funny if we weren't recording.
That's a good end, I think.
Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks again for listening. Look, if you think this podcast is okay, tell someone about it. You know, you don't have to just tell people about the good podcasts. You can tell them about the okay ones as well. A nice little rate and review on Apple. Be a nice little prezzy for Stu. A little prezzy for Stu if you got a minute. That'd be nice. Thank you. And just in terms of what we're doing with this podcast this year, I hope to make another series this year. You know, we make a series of about 8 episodes. I'm hoping to find the time at some point to make another 8-episode series. Not sure when that's going to be at this point because I've got a lot of other stuff going on. I may just do some little specials like this every now and then until I'm able to find the time to do another proper series. But if you enjoy this and want to hear more adjacent content, there's the Dad Pants podcast where myself and people you hear on this podcast, Matt, Ben and Rich, just explore dad life and celebrate good bits of dadness, and I suppose there's a bit of dad therapy for each of us. That's Dad Pants. You can find it in your pod player of choice. There's What's Fucked Today. It's a sporadic podcast. Don't really need to explain it. It's in the title. Just talk about things that are fucked, really. And I'm working on another upcoming project. Can't say much at the moment because, well, I don't know why. I'm just not gonna. But yeah, hoping you'll like that as well when it comes out. But don't worry, you'll know about it. Anyway, it's a fair bit of rambling. Thanks for listening to it if you bothered and didn't just switch off as soon as the clips ended. Or when the clip started, to be honest. Talk to you soon. This is an Angry Chimp podcast.